I mean, everybody's that man ain't no, he got no chance. Tank told you a couple of days earlier, hey, you not going the distance. Y'all shake, Freddie Lou 250, whatever the case may be. You go into that fight, you know Tank's a slow starter, builds up as the fight progresses, know he's trying to land, hook to the body, come up top with it. I thought even without the knockdown, I thought he won it. I thought he had, I mean, look, I know Tank landed punches, but
because he was aggressive.
Roach was the more aggressive fighter.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero.
Everyone knows that man has no chance. After all, Tank said to you a few days ago, hey, don't go far away, you guys. Even without the knockdown, I believed he had won. I mean, I know Tank lands the punches, but because Roach was a more aggressive fighter, we will never see that fight again.
If they have a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, huh? Hey,
but look, there's enough fighters in that class. You got Lomachenko, you got Shakur, you got Haney, you got Garcia, you got Tank, you got Roach. Come on, man, make these damn fights happen. Stop ducking and dodging each other. What the?
Shake FRE 250, whatever the case may be. You go into that fight knowing Tank is a slow starter.
Press conference, and you looked at him and you said, you really should have waited. You took this fight too early. You really should have waited. That's what you told him before the fight, and then you went and put him to sleep. This cat right here, Lamont Roach, he ain't saying something like that about you, is he? He's not doing that, is he?
No, but Lamont had more experience than Roach. I mean, I'm bugging. Lamont had more skills than Frank Martin, for sure.
Okay, I got you.
Builds up as the fight progresses, and he's trying to land hook to the body, come up talk with it. Tank or Gervonta, we've seen it time and time again. Davis dislikes difficult battles. He battled after fighting a relatively inexperienced Rolly. Ryan Garcia was exhausted. Romero's Shannon Sharpe was...
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Roach again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight Ino. He will not fight those guys. That's just not who Tank is.
Unreserved in his criticism of Gervonta Davis for not pursuing a rematch with Lamont Roach. He maintained that the fight ought to take place, particularly since Roach should have won if the knockdown had been registered. Sharpe criticized Davis for avoiding difficult bouts, stating that it's time to quit ducking genuine challenges and give supporters the rematch they are due.
So Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach goes to a majority decision draw, with Tank retaining his WBA lightweight title. Now, I did not score this fight a draw. I had it 7-5 to Lamont Roach. I thought he had the ring generalship and effective pressure. You know, he was landing the jab and effective combinations. Tank, as usual, had a very low output, and he was relying on one big shot. You know, I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3 rounds, and then Roach 4 the last 6 rounds to win the fight. Not to mention, Tank did take a knee in the middle of the fight. You know, by rule, that should have been considered a knockdown. Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, and that's why they didn't rule it a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, that's a knockdown. And that would have given Roach 1 more point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. I mean, Lamont Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. He just had the fight of his life. He wasn't scared to go toe-to-toe with Tank. You know, landing his combinations, the bigger counters, and the more effective shots. He definitely deserves a second payday. Now, in the co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell put on an amazing performance. I think he won 11 or 12 rounds against Raya Valenzuela. Great hand speed, good combinations, you know, masterclass to win the WBA title. And then in the featured bout, Alberto Puello beat Sandor Martin to retain his WBC title. He landed the cleaner left hands, definitely won the last 2 to 3 rounds to edge the fight. But overall, good card. I do think Roach won the fight, though.
Yes, I agree that they must have their rematch. But look at that class of fighters. You have Lomachenko, Shakur, Haney, Garcia, Tank, and Roach. Come on, man. Stop avoiding each other and stop fighting. Tank himself acknowledged that Lamont Roach is more skilled than he is, which makes Sharpe's criticism even more credible.
I feel like Tank overall, like the bigger picture, he just wasn't focused for real. He, you know, doing a lot of arguing in the ring and just a lot of stuff that wasn't like, he wasn't just focused. He wasn't all the way locked in the ring. You heard him say something like, you know, it's a lot of things going on outside the ring that he was leading up to the fight, and shit, that's natural, you know what I'm saying? It's normal. Shit, I was going through the same thing because this last fight, you know, so I just feel like he just wasn't focused.
You glanced at him during the press conference and told him, you really should have waited. You took this fight too early. Then you went ahead and put him to sleep. Lamont rose. He's not saying or doing that about you, is he? But I'm bothering you. Lamar has more experience than Roach and more skills than...
So, Rick Glazer is reporting that Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach sold 149,000 pay-per-view buys. And he tweeted this report at Turkey Ala Sheik. Coincidence? Truthful? Do you trust Rick Glazer's reporting on this issue? If you do, let me know why. If you don't, let me know why not. But you best believe I have a long video coming on this later today. Y'all be sure to check that out. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Freddie, I got you, Frank Martin. Given his history of sidestepping difficult rematches, many boxing fans and pundits think Gervonta Davis will probably avoid a rematch with Lamont Roach. His prior choices.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we taking?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
Such as declining a rematch with Ryan Garcia or other dangerous opponents during his career. Support this viewpoint. That fight will never occur again. It simply will not. Devin Tank, we've seen it time and time again.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
Well, what is?
You might see it in a minute. You definitely might see it in a minute.
Davis dislikes difficult battles. He battled after fighting a relatively inexperienced Rolly. Ryan Garcia was exhausted. Romero will not fight Shakur Devin Haney, Pipo Cruz, Lamar Roach, Timo, or Anu. He will not fight any of those individuals again. Tank simply isn't like that. Many fans were dismayed by Davis's weak performance against Lamont Roach.
There's no way you could say Tank won. There's no way.
Do you think that he's diminished in some way, or do you think that just mentally he just wasn't there for the fight?
Well, a little bit of both. His age is catching up to him. His legs aren't there as he used to be. And, he switched his trainer, that's could be another factor.
With Barry Hunter being the head trainer and Coach Calvin being outside.
Yeah, but he snapped at Calvin too. So that's there was something going on. I really don't know, and I couldn't really speculate on that because I don't know. But I know that something was bothering Tank because Tank is a good fighter and he's out to hurt you, But hey, Lamont Roach stood in there, stood his ground, and he did a great job.
Leading some to question if he is still at his peak. Longtime trainer Calvin Ford's absence only served to confirm rumors that Davis struggled without his direction. Some people think that Davis's lack of sharpness was caused by Ford's departure. I didn't score this bout as a draw. I had it 75 to Lamont Roach.
I think Tank been cherry picking for a long time, but I think Tank got the talent to be an all-time great. He just don't want to have a resume for whatever reason. So I think this is going to force him to go see people.
Step up a little bit.
It showed even his fans, it kind of took that allure off. Like, oh, this nigga not perfect. He can't just whoop anybody ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think Lamont should have won the fight on the technicality. If it wasn't a knockdown, the ref wouldn't have started counting. He started counting. He only stopped because Tank told him to stop. He told that nigga, no. I'm like, no,
So
stop, nigga. He was like, oh, my bad.
Yeah. You take away the jabs, Tank landed more. Percentage was higher. I'm all about connection, bro. I think Tank did a better job in the fight. I gave Lamont maybe one of the early rounds. After round 6 or 7, I think Roach put in very good work and kind of matched whatever Tank was doing, or Tank matched whatever Lamont started doing. The technicality, bro, that was different.
I believe he had the ring generalship and effective pressure, and he was. Tank Davis versus Lamar Roach ended in a majority decision draw, with Tank keeping his WBA lightweight title. Getting the jab right and using powerful combinations, Tank. as usual, had very little output.
Gervonta doing this shows that it wasn't an outside strange occurrence, that it may just be a part of his DNA. For him to get hit in amateurs and then take a step back and take a knee when he obviously wasn't hurt, it just shows to me that instead of gritting it out, all right, and possibly get knocked out or taking those chances, he'd rather take a knee to disrupt the momentum and then start over. That's how I'm taking it. It can be a great strategy, or it can be the bully complex. That when you meet somebody and they're not fearing you, or they're not retreating or backing away from you, and they're showing poise and the ability to withstand your output and give some back, like any bully, they kind of unravel.
And relied on one big shot to win the fight. You know, I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3, and then Roach for the final 6 rounds. In addition, Tank took a knee in the middle of the fight, which should have been a knockdown according to the rules.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure.
Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, which is why it wasn't ruled a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, it's a knockdown, and that would have given Roach an additional point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. He just had to battle his life, and he wasn't afraid to face Tank head-to-head, with greater combinations, larger counters, and more potent shots.
To override his decisions or knockdowns. Some skeptics have suggested that Willis's call benefited Davis unfairly, but we do not subscribe to that notion. In our long experience judging fights, we see no evidence of favoritism, only a referee prioritizing the physical safety of a fighter who appeared compromised by an eye injury. Which I actually get. I understood that statement because, hey, look, Steve Willis he didn't call it a knockdown.
You take a knee like that looks like a knockdown, all right?
So I think it's going to be very difficult for the New York State Athletic Commission to review this and then call it a knockdown. Because here's the thing. The fight could have gone completely differently if Gervonta was told that it was a knockdown officially. Gervonta could have then responded differently because, let the truth be known, Gervonta didn't even know it was the 12th round when it was the 12th round. He thought it was the 8th.
Forgot where he was at. He thought he was still in the 8th round. He thought he still had rounds to go.
12th round. He said, damn, it's the 12th? Yeah, it's the 12th and you're down.